Hi, I'm Sharon Spangler. I'm here at Reno City Hall. Welcome to this Council Connections. I'm with Dan Gustin, and I thought we'd talk about a really good subject like the second season of the Reno Aces.
Second season or a winter, whatever you want to talk about, because it seems like when baseball comes around, the first week or two, you can count on some weather that's not the greatest weather in the world, although that'll be short-lived, hopefully.
Well, they had a pretty nice opening night and a sellout, and it was pretty warm out there for April.
Actually, opening night was very nice. The next couple games were a little bit tough on that homestand, but it was the fourth sellout they have had since they've opened in their inaugural season and the first, obviously, game of this year. Yeah, that was good to see people. It was almost like people wishing spring or summer to come. They had the same kind of attitude, smile on their face, baseball's back, and in the AAA Baseball League is back, and so they were pretty happy about it. I need to say something, though, but that I am a seasonal employee of SK Baseball, although I do not have anything to do with baseball. They are the owners and proprietors of the Bighorns basketball team, and during the last two seasons I have worked for them as their play-by-play announcer. So I want to get that out front, that so there's no hidden agenda of mine at all, but I am just a seasonal employee, and the season's over now. So I don't know whether I'll be working for him next year or not, have no idea, but it doesn't matter. When it comes to baseball, you can see the enthusiasm, the brightness of people saying something has come back. As they say, the slogan is "the boys of spring have returned," and even though it's spring and it's a little bit cool, they are back.
Well, I think the numbers speak for themselves. I think everybody was just amazed at how well the Reno Aces did as far as drawing people downtown during their first season.
You know, and we think that's going to just be amplified 2 or 3 times this year simply because of the investment that the SK Baseball people have made right next to the ballpark in the Freight District. They've opened a couple restaurants and bars. There'll be a couple more to open. They're still looking to do more things downtown, and that's what it's about, is developing downtown and the redevelopment district. And I sit as the council liaison to the redevelopment agency advisory board, the RAAB. I'm having trouble getting that out, but I do sit on that board. And you know, we're always looking to what can we do to improve Reno and to better Reno and to get people coming in. You know, it's been somewhat controversial. Some people have talked about the investment that put in there and what the city has tried to do to help the people invest in downtown, but probably 4 or 5 years ago that would not have been necessary. But in these times, when you have people coming and putting their own money, probably in the neighborhood of $80 million into town, that there have to be some incentives and some help for those people so that they are successful. Because the main thing we want to have, Sharon, is you mentioned the sellout crowd. Well, they don't sell out every night, and we want to see that their investment so that other people who are looking at Reno or looking at Northern Nevada will say, you know what, those baseball guys, those basketball guys made it there, I can make it there. So hopefully that will enhance what we're trying to do downtown and bring more people to invest in downtown Reno.
And I think that one of the other really, really positive things about it is with this downturn in the economy, that baseball is employing people. And some of those folks, I didn't realize that some of the restaurants are going to stay open year-round, not just during the baseball season. My daughter was going to go down there. I said, "Oh no, don't go apply there. It's seasonal." And then I learned, no, and so that's going to be some nice jobs for some people.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I think some people out there do believe that, but no, those are year-round ventures. They have to stand on their own when baseball isn't there. It's nice that they get kicked off while baseball's there, so people can go in, sample whether it's the kind of food they like or the service they like, or they would like to go there, because that's what it's all about. Is if you're happy with wherever you go and the service and the quality you get, you'll go back. If baseball's on, terrific. If not, that's the hurdle they'll have to overcome when the baseball season closes down in September. They'll have to be every bit as viable and as attractive for the dollar, the dining dollar and the entertainment dollar as everybody else is.
And across the street from the baseball stadium, the owners of Silver Peak have invested.
Yeah, they've moved over there. I don't know what I haven't been in their restaurant yet, but I think it's more of a seasonal thing, as I've heard right now. It's pizza and beer and some other things and sandwiches. I don't think it's the extensive menu they have downtown, but that's, you know, I think they're trying to find out how successful they'll be, what the attraction is, what they can offer, what people want, and I think they'll, like they do downtown, they've changed their menu quite a few times to accommodate the tastes no pun intended, but what people want in their restaurants. So it's good to see them over there, and we know the investment in the building, the people that bought the building, and so somebody has to generate the enthusiasm and the excitement and say that this is a viable area in which to be, and that's what SK Baseball started out by building the stadium a year ago.
And just to back up a little bit, last Tuesday of this taping, there was a dedication for Clarence C.J. Jones, and in case you don't know it, he was the guy that really pushed the hardest, I think, to bring AAA baseball to Reno. And I know you were there, and his wife did an amazing job of talking about CJ, as did the mayor and Gino and John Burkish. That was pretty neat to see.
You know, it really was. CJ and Candace, my wife and I, go back an awfully long time. When I was full 100% in the advertising business, full steam ahead, I did some marketing projects for CJ down in Southern Nevada in Laughlin. He did some building down there, and his background was in development. He never did huge developments, but he did quite a few developments, and they were all successful. So when he started his lust for AAA baseball to come to town, I was on his committee along with quite a few other people, and we were very sorry at his passing. I remember when his wife called me, I really couldn't stop crying because I couldn't believe that he couldn't see his dream come true. But she did a great job in her presentation of remembrances of CJ and how all he wanted was baseball to come to this community. And it was not, even near the end, it wasn't for him to make money at doing it. It was bring it to the community because he thought AAA baseball should be in Northern Nevada. And
he was right.
He is absolutely right. He's up there now someplace watching out because he's from Elko originally, was a baseball player there, went to Southern Idaho College, played baseball up there, but never lost his love for baseball. There's a lot of people play the game, and even though they don't play it anymore, they still care for it because, one time it was considered to be America's pastime. I hope it still is in so many people's mind, but it really is a special game if you've played it, you've enjoyed it as a fan, and your love stays for baseball. It's also interesting, I think the correlation is interesting in baseball and the success it's had in Reno. I remember my father telling me for years about baseball during the Depression, the first Depression. The last one, the one we're coming out of now, you can have your own terminology, whether it's recession or depression. But one of the things that always kept people's spirits up was baseball. Baseball went on through the Great Depression, we'll call it that, the Great Depression. And obviously it wasn't very much money to get in, but it was a relief from the pressures and the agonies of what was going on in the economic times. I remember my father telling me that baseball always made him feel good and people he knew because things were better.
Oh. And so I'm sure there were a lot of people that were thinking that the other night when they went out, because it just puts a smile on your face when you see all the people that are embracing the sport and eating the hot dogs and just enjoying that whole atmosphere.
Yeah, for 2.5 hours or 3 hours while you're at the ballpark, you forget all your other trials and tribulations and you enjoy the baseball game, and it really makes it special when your team wins. I don't know if you saw Friday night, because Friday night is the night that they celebrate with fireworks. The fireworks were spectacular. I had people at the Bighorn game on Saturday say, I was at the ballpark last night, and those fireworks were really spectacular, and they were. I got to see them. I wasn't at the ballpark, but I got to see them, and they did a great job, and that's every Friday night at the ballpark.
There you go. There's something else to enjoy, and it's a pretty inexpensive evening for a family.
It really is, and the nice thing about it is you're not locked into a seat or an area. If you want to get up and walk around the ballpark, it's really an easy trip around the ballpark. You can enjoy a couple innings in left field, you can be in right field, you can be up behind home plate if you want to stand there and have something to eat and something to drink. I think the congeniality of the stadium really makes it a place where people can see a game, but if you're not really into baseball, you just want to be in an area where people are happy and enjoy themselves, you can go there and do the same thing.
Well, not to sound like I'm a heavy drinker or anything like that, but we got a tour of the new bar that's opened up, and wow, is it beautiful. What a great spot. If you're really just more into socializing, you can go upstairs and sit in that bar and look out and watch baseball and enjoy a conversation.
I think it's one of the smart things they did.
I do too.
I told you the story some time ago, I don't know how many council connections ago, but when Larry Lazier was here trying to put a hockey team in town, and I visited his team in Boise, and I think more people were standing around the perimeter of the rink talking and enjoying themselves and having a beverage than were actually sitting in the seats like I was watching hockey. So it became a social event. And I think you see that evolving at the Aces Stadium. It's people go for the baseball game, obviously they have their hat on or their shirt on or whatever it is because they're part of the Aces family, but they also enjoy the social aspect of the game and the night or day that they're there.
That's what makes it a lot of fun. Boy, the Bighorns have had a great season.
Yeah, they did. They won 7 in a row to get into the playoffs, and in the playoffs they had a little bit of a downturn. They were leading most of the game, the first game they lost, but they've got a tough opponent in Rio Grande Valley Vipers, and we'll hope that they come through. But they did pull it together right at the end. Jay Humphreys, the head coach for the 2 years that the team's been in existence, he really knows basketball. He knows how his substitution pattern, which sometimes goes unnoticed to a lot of the fans, but the way he would play the right combination at the right time added a great deal to the success. He'll be in the NBA if it's not next year or the year after. He will be there because he's a quality guy and a quality coach.
Is Bighorns going to be around for a while? They
are. They're committed for next year. And after that, I don't know what the plans are, but I know they're back because they've arranged for their dates when they come up in the Reno Event Center. So I know they're back for at least a third year. And you know, the biggest crowd of the year was the first game of the playoffs. Wow. 3,500 people were there, and that was their largest crowd of the year. They frequently were above 2,500 to 3,200. That's the range they were in.
That's excellent, though.
Yeah, that is excellent. And the place seats a little bit more than 5,000, so any seat in the house is a great seat. Even if you sit in the top row, you still can see. And the energy that when the place is half full or 2/3 full that it generates, I think that's what helped the team at the end of the year.
They were just amazing. They really had an awesome season, and hopefully this is just the beginning.
Exactly. They were better this year than they were last year, and hopefully the third year they'll be better than they were in the second year. And they were 6 games above 500 their second year. So at the first year they were 500. They were 25 and 25, and this year they were 6 games above 500. So they had a good year.
Before we wrap it up in our discussions about the Reno Aces and a little bit about the Bighorns, is there anything else you want to add about redevelopment in downtown?
Well, I think the redevelopment has been slowed by the economy, but the things that I'm hearing from just people in the community, and I know the construction business will be delighted to hear this because I've met with the leaders in the construction business, and unfortunately they have 60 to 70% of their people are unemployed right now. But I have heard some positive things happening, some people looking for permits and to come forward to the building department, start discussing projects. So knock, knock, there are things on the future, and they're not that far in the future. I hope by this summer and into the fall we see some real turnaround or some real activity that's happening and people get back to work.
Great. Always a pleasure to talk to you.
Same here, thank you.
And it's great to talk about something positive.
It is great to have something positive, and you know, there are things positive out there if you look for them, and sometimes it's tough, but keep looking.
And thank you all for joining us on this Council Connection.